Hi, I am Jared. I am one of our pastors here at Life Foursquare in Decatur. Those of you that are watching this during our Sunday morning service, I want to say hi. And if we haven't met, I look forward to the day that we get to. If you see me running around on a Sunday morning with a headset, don't be afraid to stop me and say hi. I would love to meet you and hear your story as well as I get ready to share mine. I grew up going to this church. I am 24 years old. My family and I moved to this church when I was about 12, so I've been here for about 12 years. And before that, we were at another church in Decatur where my mom helped out in kids ministry, and that's where I first fell in love with Jesus. I will always credit my faith and my belief in Jesus to her name was Angie Matlock, and she was the kids director at GT, and her mom Kathy were great. Angie and Kathy both were amazing women of God. And I remember Kathy telling me when I was just 5 or 6 years old that, Jared, one day you're going to be a pastor. And they gave me the love for the Bible that I have and the love for Jesus. So I always make sure to shout out those two amazing women. In middle school, we moved here, and I remember the very first Sunday night youth discipleship that I went to. Pastor Mark was the youth pastor at the time, and he said, "Do you want to go to camp with us tomorrow?" And I had grown up going to church camp, and I was like, yes. It was one of the very things that I knew I missed from my last church, and I went home and told my mom, and we packed a bag, and the next day I went to youth camp, and at that camp, we went the next several years, but at that same campground, I received my calling to go into ministry, and I knew that that's what the Lord wanted for my life. And as I went through junior high and high school, I was here at the church. I interned every summer, and I took every opportunity to be here that I could. And I credit Mark and Lynn for investing in me in those formidable years as well, cultivating that love for Jesus even more. And in high school, I did like a lot of Christian youth do in high school. I was 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I finally decided that I was going to be all in for Jesus. And I went to Bible college out in Los Angeles, California. I wasn't even 18 yet when I signed the papers. And so that summer before, I got all my ducks in a row. I got my parents on board, and we shipped me off to LA to go to Bible college. And I was there for 2 years at Life Pacific, where I met some amazing people. Angie Ritchie, who is now the president of the university, was my boss, and I love her to death. And she really put in a hard work ethic in me. Not just for the university, but for the Lord, that the Lord deserves our best. And so thank you, Angie, for that. And so out of that, about 2 years into Bible college, COVID hit, and I came and I moved back to Decatur. And I've been serving at this church ever since May of 2020. So I'm coming up on 5 years here, which is great. And let me tell you, these past 5 years, Mark and Lynn told me that the first 5 years that you're in ministry are going to be about God getting rid of everything in you that he doesn't want to be there. And that's what God has been doing. He has formed me and shaped me. He has given me a new perspective on my identity and the way that I relate to him and how he sees me and how he sees those around me. He's softened my heart. When I was 19 years old, my parents divorced, and a few months later, I had unexpectedly moved back to Decatur after living in Los Angeles, and my heart was hard, and the Lord softened my heart, not just to him, but to the place that he brought me. He gave me a very specific word for Decatur, and I'll share it with you right now. He told me, Jared, don't be a Jonah, be a Noah. And if you don't know that reference, it's basically that Jesus didn't want me to just do the thing because it's what he called me to do and then be bitter about it. No, he wanted me to embrace what he wanted me to do and embrace the life that he has brought me. And I have, and I am in love with serving here at Life. I love the people here, and I love our leadership, and I love the team of pastors that I get to work with as well. And if you can't tell, I am upstairs right now. If you didn't know we have an upstairs, we do. It's our tech and media booth, our production area where we shoot videos like this and we create content in our studio, but we also get to produce all of our services. So I have the honor of leading our creative and production teams, as well as working with our communication staff as well to make sure everything's communicated in a creative and fun way. So I give a really, really, really fun job. I get to be fun and I get to be creative. And I think that's one of the biggest blessings ever. And currently I also coach high school cheerleading at Warrensburg Latham here in town. And that is a ball. We are a competitive cheer team, one of the only ones in the area. And I love those kids to death. So yeah, that's what I do, and a little bit about who I am. I am in love with the Lord, and this past year I asked for a specific word from the Lord, and I'll share with you what it was. I asked the Lord, I was like, I've got buttloads of passion, I've got so much energy, but God, I don't know a super clear direction of what you want for me. I don't know what necessarily my calling is currently. And I asked the Lord, I was like, give me a passion, give me a purpose, give me a direction. And he said, Jared, your job in life is to bring people to the same freedom in me that you have come to know. Isn't that powerful? That like I now have a compass that I get to say, as long as I'm making sure people are finding freedom in Jesus, that's what I'm going to do. And that's how I'm going to process my life. And so I've got dreams of things that I want to do in my life. I would love to partake in camp ministry someday, community outreach as far as that goes, some aspects of community development as well, helping people break cycles of poverty and lack in their lives. I've got dreams of opening up a furniture store one day and becoming an entrepreneur. I went and, I finished my master's degree at LPU, or my bachelor's degree at LPU, and then I got my master's degree in business at the U of I a year later. And so I'm tenacious. I like to work hard, but most of all, I am excited about what the Lord is doing, not just in my life, but here in our ministry at Life Foursquare. Something special is ready for Decatur, and something special is getting ready to happen here, and I'm excited to be along for the ride. Well, I want to say thank you for joining us online for our services. For those of you that are watching, and if you never stepped foot in our building, I want to say hi, and I'm so glad that I got to take this moment with you. And if you do come to our building, please stop me and say hi. I would love to get to know you and to hear your story.